You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You must answer. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The truth is, you're not getting no $5,000 check that a lot of y'all thought that y'all was going to get. A lot of you thought that you was going to get when Trump was reelected. Suckers, you're not getting anything. Welcome, everybody. It's April 24th already, 2025. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. Weather breaking. It's lovely out there. It's around 70 degrees right now. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Stole that from Mr. Rogers. Anyway, it's just a couple minutes past the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. And it's on Facebook Live. It's on YouTube Live. And it's on LinkedIn Live. And occasionally on TikTok. Because we don't know if TikTok is staying and going. We still don't know. The jury is still out with TikTok. We don't know what's going on with TikTok. I guess we'll find out. There'll be a lot of disappointed people when TikTok, they're haggling over it right now. And there's going to be a lot of disappointed folks who are making some bucks off of TikTok who are going to lose that money if Trump or whoever says that's it. Anyway, everybody, it's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It's April 24th already, and the weather's breaking finally. You know, you might be able to put that winter coat up. Yeah, I think you might be able to put that winter coat up. Anyway, lots going on locally. Locally, city of Paterson, New Jersey. And, I tried to warn my national audience because I'm not going to stick on it too much because we got a lot bigger fish to fry than the city of Paterson, New Jersey. There's a lot going on, and we're going to talk about that tonight right here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. If you can't handle the truth, then you should turn your radio off right now. Anyway, everybody, welcome and thank you for joining me as usual. Shout out to all my peoples who ordinarily partake of the Ron Kelly Show nonsense. Appreciate you guys. I'm sure you'll be stopping in pretty soon. Anyway, it's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. Shout out to the Fishbowl Radio Network. Shout out to my peoples. You know, I still have some friends over there at Fishbowl Radio Network. I've been, the Ron Kelly Show has been like everywhere. I remember I was doing the show on Grove Street at the church in Grove Street in East Orange, right across from the cemetery. Now, y'all know, if you ever been down that street, that's one street you really don't want to be on. My bad to Ros Baraka or Ted Green or whoever is the mayor of that street, whatever category it falls into. But yeah, that's the street you don't want to be on. And I did the show there in the church basement years ago. I remember I worked at WWRL and 1600 WWRL. I did work there. Not work there, but I was an intern at 1600 WWRL. Where Frankie Crocker actually started. And I've been all over the place. I don't just come on Facebook. I've earned my shot. I've been all over the place. Ron Kelly Show. I was doing it in New City, New York. It took me 2 hours to get there. It was up above the Bronx. 2 hours to get there, 1 hour to get back. Anyway, so everybody look out because we're going to have the Fifth Ward Paterson City Councilman Lewis. He's going to be the councilman in the great city of Paterson. He's going to be on the Ron Kelly Show. Luis Velez is going to be on the Ron Kelly Show. And I know you guys are itching to talk to Luis Velez to try to find out what happened between him and the First Ward councilman. Anyway, it's about 5 minutes past the hour. Shout out to everybody who partakes in the Ron Kelly Show. Ron Kelly Show might be going to regular radio. Ron Kelly Show might be going to terrestrial radio. I'll keep you posted on that. WDKA, I believe, Pittsburgh. And if the money's right, I'm leaving. If the money's right, I'm leaving. Anyway, everybody. So what's going on? I mean, so I guess, there's these town halls are being held across the United States of America in Republican districts. And the people, you're noticing more and more protests, more and more people gathering. I was just passing through Montclair, New Jersey the other day. There were several hundred folks out there. Bloomfield, New Jersey, there was quite a few folks, maybe 1,000 folks out there in the downtown area. So all across the United States of America, people are starting to say, like, hold up, wait a minute. Not necessarily the MAGA folks, as the MAGA folks will starve and die first before they say anything about Trump. But there are other folks who may be conservatives, but not necessarily MAGA people. And everybody's like, oh, wait a minute, this is crazy. And it is. You see, because the Trump, when the Trump cuts to the United States government, good evening. How are you? Good to hear from you. So the cuts that are going on in the United States government are affecting everybody, because you can't pick out the Democrats, which I'm sure that Trump probably tried. You can't pick out the Democrats, so some Republicans are going to get rolled up in this mess, and all across the United States of America, folks are protesting, big protests, little protests. People are pissed off because of what's going on with the government and Trump and this nonsense. People are it's crazy. It's crazy. So, so Trump's people are getting rolled up in this stuff. And see, this is perfect. I'm going to tell you why. This is perfect. I'll get to it. What the people are doing is perfect. And hopefully I can get a hold of Louis Velez, the 5th Ward councilman in the great city of Paterson, New Jersey. Hopefully I can get a hold of him. He's coming on the show. He is definitely coming. I spoke to him. As a matter of fact, he called me. See, Kenyatta Stewart didn't call me. That's why you're going to lose. But because the winners must come through the Ron Kelly Talk Radio show. So, yeah, so Trump's own people are being rolled up in this stuff. Trump's folks. Not necessarily the MAGAs, but the conservatives are getting rolled up in this nonsense. All these cuts. I mean, did you really think that only Democrats work for the United States government? Well, Trump, you're stupid and you're wrong, because a lot of the people who voted for Trump are now getting rolled over by all of this nonsense. A lot of the folks that voted for Trump. And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad for them. That's why you see so many protests all across the United States of America. People are protesting about this nonsense that Trump is trying to pull. You see, but you know what? It's going to backfire. It's going to backfire in 2 years. And I know we don't want to have to wait 2 years, but it's going to backfire in 2 years. They have something that's called the midterms, for those of you who are not too versed. It's not that you don't know anything, just not versed in politics. And they have something to call the midterms. And in the midterms, because the senators, their terms are for 6 years, but the Congress term is only for 2. So we got the midterms. We just had the election, the presidential election, and the Congress was in there too. So people voted for the Congress people. Now, in 2 years, when those terms are up, those same congressmen are going to have to run again, right? They're going to have to run again. Read my lips. They're going to have to run again. And guess what? They're going to lose. The Republicans, the Democrats, the Trump the Trump cult followers are going to lose. You see, this is going to happen because people are pissed off at what's going on. And the Senate, I don't know if if the Democrats have enough to take over the Senate, but they're going to take over that House because those House members, the Republican House members, are getting roasted at they're getting roasted at the meetings, the town hall meetings. The senators, the congressmen, rather, are getting roasted alive by the folks that are pissed off. Cuts to Medicare, to eliminate the Department of Education, which and the Department of Education is very important in the United States of America. Very important. And, because they oversee the schools, they distribute funds, make sure schools have food for the kids and stuff like that. Now, wouldn't you leave it to the states? The states don't have the money for this stuff. The states don't have the money for this stuff. Look at like a state like Wyoming with less than 1 million people living in a whole entire state, which is 20 times the size of New Jersey. Now, can you imagine a state that big? Hardly anybody lives there. So, I mean, they can't afford to. It's going to be a struggle. Wyoming is a Republican state. So it's going to be a struggle for everybody. If Trump keeps it up with this, cutting this, cut that, cut the other, slash and burn. Because I already told you that the money that saved, the savings are going to go to the top 1%. Let me look this up so I don't. The top 1% net worth in the United States. Okay. The top net worth, the top 1% gained $1 trillion in additional net worth last year. $1 trillion. I mean, between the 19 richest families in America, the 19 richest families in America gained $1 trillion in net worth last year. Now, let's take a look at that. Let's quantify that for a minute. Now, in order for you to be part of the top 1%, you have to have a income of $590,000 for household income. So if you're going to be a part of the 1%, top 1%, you would have to have an income of $591,000. For a single person, it would be $407,500. Now, the top 1% owns 30% of America's wealth. The top 1%. See, these are the Trump folks. They own 30% of America's net worth. The top 1%. They own 30%. 30% of the net worth. America, the whole country. I'm not talking about just one state or one area. The whole country. The top 19 families in America. The Waltons and some of the other folks. The Bezoses, they gained $1 trillion in net worth. I mean, can you imagine? It's only 19 families. 19 families. $1 trillion in net worth. And this guy is, hey, they're doing all right. You don't see them out there protesting. They're doing all right. They're not complaining. And why should they? 19 people divide $1 trillion between 19 families. That's a lot of money per family. That's a lot of money per family. Now you get to us folks, the bottom the bottom 50%. Get down to the bottom 50%, and the bottom 50% only own 2.6% of the wealth of the United States of America. 2.6%. So you got the bottom 50% of all the. So that's 100, 160, 170 million people. When you cut it in half, the bottom 50, that's 160, because it's 330 million people somewhere thereabouts, probably a whole lot more. We just haven't counted them all. And so half of that would be about 160 million people. So you got 160 million people who hold only 2.4% of America's worth. 2.4%. 2.4% of America's worth between the bottom 50. So you got 19 families, probably maybe 200 people altogether that own 30% of America's wealth. And so you got 170 something million people who only own 2.4% of America's wealth. I mean, can you imagine? That's ridiculous. And see, and you know why these people are getting so rich? Because of the Trump tax cuts when he first took office in 2016. The Trump tax cuts, that money went to the rich. Don't kid yourself. You peel off 20% of the corporate tax rate. It goes from 30 something percent down to somewhere in the teens. I mean, come on. And see, because that trickled down, see, because Reagan talked about it. I liked Ronald Reagan, though. I liked Ronald Reagan. And the trickle down, that's what, Trump tried to use the same old arithmetic, fuzzy math, as George Bush once said, and to try to use the same old stuff. And it didn't trickle down. Because Trump's lie was to cut the corporate tax rate so the companies would have more money to do more business, to hire more people. And the companies were like, oh, well, why should I hire more people? I'm doing good with the people I have. So I'm going to hire more people, more health insurance, more sick days, more workers' compensation, more union. More contributions to the parent. No, why should I do that? So they kept that money. So the money that the biggest companies in America, the money they saved from corporate taxes went in their pocket. And that's what Trump wanted, because he knew that they weren't going to hire more people. He knew they weren't going to build more factories, because if I'm getting by with 20 employees, and you give me enough, and I'm making enough tax savings to hire 10 more, I'm not hiring them. No. I'm going to keep the people I got, and I'm going to put that money in my pocket. Because people were keeping their money offshore. Trump cut the taxes. They brought their money back here. But that ain't helping me. That's not helping me. So you got to be aware of the banana in the tailpipe, ladies and gentlemen. You got to know. I mean, what's going on down the street don't matter when you're talking about Trump and the nonsense. But you know what? We'll take a break and we'll come back with more of this program. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and blogtalkradio.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Alrighty then, everybody. This portion of the Ron Kelly Show is sponsored in part by Amaker and Porterfield Transportation. 45 years. Now, anybody's doing something for 45 years, they have to be doing it right. Maybe except for Jerry Jones, that has ruined the Dallas Cowboys. Draft night tonight. We'll see what the idiot does. But anyway, 45 years. Amaker and Porterfield Transportation is providing safe, reliable transportation to and from your destination. If you got a field trip, family reunion, casino trip, medical, school district, you name it, Amaker and Porterfield can handle it. You should give them a call, 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423, located in the great city of Plainfield, New Jersey. So just because you may live in New York or someplace else doesn't mean that Amaker and Porterfield Transportation can't handle your business for you. So in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, because I know we broadcast in California and all over the place. But for local folks in the New York metropolitan area, the phone number for Amaker and Porterfield Transportation is 908-753-6423, 908-753-6423 for Amaker and Porterfield Transportation, which sponsors in part the Ron Kelly Show. Okay, back to the business, everybody. 22 minutes past the hour. Yeah, it's draft night, so we're gonna see. Shameful to be a Dallas Cowboy fan at this point, but I don't. There's no place else to go, so I'm just gonna stuck there. But anyway, we'll see what happens tonight. Right after the program, I'm gonna be watching draft and see what happens, who gets who and what, and who gets traded up, who trades up, and blah 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 blah. I know half of my audience doesn't care about it, but the men who watch the Ron Kelly Show do. So 8 o'clock, the NFL draft on who knows, NFL Network, I guess. Anyway, everybody, so did you get your $5,000 check? Did you get your $5,000 check that you were promised? Did you get it? No, you didn't, because it's not coming. And I just cannot believe that our folks, black folks, but let's leave everybody else out. Let's not even talk about Hispanics and whites, Asian Americans, Native Americans. Let me focus on black folks for a minute. Now, I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand why our people, black folks, fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Trump has been a consummate liar all his life. He has lied. Annetta Marshall says, I do for sure. I'm not sure. You have to clear that up for me, darling. Yeah, because I talk so fast. I forget sometimes my own self. Anyway, yeah. So did you get your $5,000 check? Hey, put it on my message board. I'm waiting. I'm playing the Jeopardy music right now. Dun, 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 dun. You're not getting it. I can play every song in the history of music. You're not getting it. Oh, okay. All right. What are you watching draft for? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess women can watch it too. Yeah. You just wait for your $5,000 check? Yeah, getting it. Trump. Why would you even believe Trump? This is the same guy who put an ad in a newspaper in Manhattan, New York. Full page ad in the New York Times, one of the big papers in Manhattan, in New York City, to advocating the death penalty for the Central Park Five. This is the same guy. He advocated for the death penalty for 5 of your brothers, black folks. I'm talking to black folks. He advocated for the death sentence, pushed for the death penalty for 5 black boys who wound up being exonerated. So, and you mean to tell me that you voted for this guy? I mean, really? You voted for somebody they were kids at the time, and they're grown now, but they were kids at the time. You advocated for I can't even say it. You advocated for Trump. You voted for this man who advocated for the death sentence, gas chamber, electric, lethal injection, whatever, for 5 black boys who eventually were exonerated. And you voted for him. You got to step in and fetch it, Jim Crow, Uncle Tom Negroes up in the White House. You got him in the Senate. This joker is the biggest Tom in America. The senator, biggest Tom in America. Did he get a position? No. Didn't get a position. Did any of those black congressmen who advocated for Trump, did they get a position? No. One black person got a position in the Trump cabinet. And they put him in something safe. I guess it was a DEI move. Put him in some diversity, equity, and inclusion. I guess they put him in someplace safe. They made him the Secretary of House and Urban Development. You could not even go to work at all in that position, and nobody would notice. That's one Secretary of Agriculture and in House and Urban Development. Those are the 2 sleepiest cabinet posts. Because even the Commerce Secretary gets more juice. The Treasury Secretary, the Defense Secretary, all of these people. But just like they put old boy, the brother, the doctor, he was Trump's House and Urban Development Tech Secretary last time. They put another black person in there. And that's it. You don't see no more black people in Trump's cabinet. This is the same guy, once again, who advocated for the death sentence for the Central Park Five, who were eventually found not guilty. And you voted for him anyway. All that you black folks knew about Trump, you voted for him anyway. Now, tell me that you didn't think you were getting $5,000, because it's not coming. There was a sucker play. That's what Trump does. He suckers people. That's what he does. That's his move. Tell you something, you go for it, vote for him, and then he spits in your face like he's doing right now. Because a lot of those folks who work for the United States government are black. A lot of them are black. You know, because we are like addicted to security. A lot of black folks work for the United States government. Now, I don't think that they're picking the black people out and leaving the whites, because that would be a problem. But you see, you can't just, I don't want to say, but, you can't just fall for anything. Because a lot of times we just fall for anything. Whatever people tell us, black folks in particular, fall for the okie doke, fall for the, for the mousetrap, for the, banana in the tailpipe. Can't be doing that. Anyway, in the last segment, I'm going to talk about this great city of Paterson, New Jersey. Who should be the next mayor of the city of Paterson? Shout out to Bilal Hakeem, my brother, my operative down there in Paterson, New Jersey, where the Ron Kelly show originated years ago. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about who should be the next mayor of the city of Paterson, because a lot of names are being thrown around. And, oh, boy. You see, there you go with the tribalism again. There we go with the tribalism again. You know, picking a black person to be the mayor of the city of Paterson, or picking a black person at all, just because they're black. Now, I can get to that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the city of Paterson. And I'm going to let you know when Fifth Ward Councilman Luis Velez, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to have all the video and everything. And so we're going to ask the councilman, you know, what did he really say? Because it's still up in the air. We're going to talk about that. So stay tuned for that right here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. 31 minutes past the hour. So, yeah. So, Andre Brown is a black man. And see, this just happens too much. Andre Brown is a black man, a brother. Had a 40-year sentence. Got it overturned. Andre Brown. Look it up, Andre Brown. 40 years. There's people going through some real stuff out here. There's people that's going through some real stuff out here. Andre Brown. It ain't, why don't they clean up the, along the railroad tracks? I mean, this is serious stuff. Andre Brown is a brother. Received a 40-year prison sentence. 40 years. Spent 23 years in prison for a conviction that was later overturned due to ineffective counsel. Is now facing a return behind bars after that decision. Now, the decision that overturned the ineffective counsel ruling was reversed. Now, the brother has rebuilt his life, mentoring youth, mentoring youth. And the brother, after spending 23 years in prison, got out, got married, taking care of his children. And now there's a chance that he can go back to jail. 23 years. He's a Bronx man, 23 years in prison for 40-year sentence. So now there's a chance that he may go back to jail for because his conviction wasn't vacated. It wasn't vacated. It was overturned. The conviction wasn't vacated. It was overturned because of ineffective counsel, meaning his lawyer was stupid. So, you see, this is when people are supposed to come together. Like most of us don't even know about this. Most of us don't even know the name Andre Brown. I have no idea. Most of us don't know Andre Brown. Andre Brown spent 23 years in prison. He's released on a technicality. It was overturned, but it wasn't vacated. It was overturned. And now he's been out for 3 years, mentoring youths, doing good things, taking care of his family. Now there's a chance he can go back because that decision was reversed. Now, see, this is where we're supposed to come out at. This is where black folks, not just when one of us get killed. Because if somebody gets killed by the police, we're out there for 13 seconds, and then we go back to what we was doing. And people don't like when I say this stuff, and I don't care if you don't like it. It's true. That's why you don't like it. But this brother, Andre Brown, is possibly going back to jail for another 17 years. So this is stuff we got to rally around. Not just Trump and Musk and this and that and the other. We got to rally around our people when they are raked over the coals by the justice system or injustice system, I should say. So we have to speak up for our people. We can't just wait for somebody to get killed. This man goes back to jail for another 17 years. It's going to be crazy. People should be writing to Governor Hochul because she's the only one that can stop this. People should be protesting outside of her office in Midtown Manhattan and letting her know, hey, give this guy a break. He got out. He's doing good. I mean, is he guilty? Doesn't matter. He served 23 years. It's unbelievable. So this is the stuff that we should be coming after. This stuff. I know everybody's looking for Fifth Ward Councilman Luis Velez. He's not gonna be here tonight. Thanks for your he's not gonna be here tonight. Because I think he has an engagement tonight, so he's not gonna be here tonight. But he's coming. He's gonna come probably next week. And believe me, I'll let you guys know in a whole bunch of posts. I'll let you know about him and that he's coming. I know some of y'all are looking for him. But he called me. We talked. And I'm going to bring him on the show. So he can talk to you guys personally himself. Okay. All right, take a break and we'll come back and we'll wrap this thing up. And just a few minutes. It's Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and blogtalkradio.com. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
That sounds like one of those old. That sounds like one of those old westerns, like the Big Valley, Bonanza. So one of those old westerns from way back when. Anyway, everybody, it's 20 minutes before the hour. It's 20 minutes before the draft. The NFL draft is coming up in 20 minutes. Something we've been waiting for since the end of last season. Because the end of last season, everybody was like, "Oh man, we need this, we need that, we need the other." And you got to go on that football detox, football detox we had to go through. But that's over with because once the draft starts, hey, look, I'm looking forward to my summer. I don't care about football right now. Weather's breaking. Things are nice. You can see behind me, it's still daylight outside at 20 minutes before 8 o'clock. So, hey, I'm down. Anyway, everybody, Ron Kelly Show is partially is brought to you in part by American Port of Transportation. More about them a little bit later on in the program. So you're not getting your check. You're not getting your check. You're not getting your $5,000 check. Where did that come from anyway? Because I never heard that. I never heard that Trump said he's going to give away. I heard Kamala Harris. I heard her say that she was going to give $25,000. The worst idea in the world. $25,000 for $25,000 to buy a house. Because Kamala Harris, she picked Mr. Rogers to be a running mate. That move. It usually doesn't matter who usually it's who's at the top of the ticket that really matters. Who's at the top of the ticket? That's usually, that determines who becomes the president of the United States. But this guy, I mean, come on. Mr. Rogers, a teacher, who advised her to do that? I would have picked a pit bull, like Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. I would have picked Tim Walz. And who told her to do that? That was a horrible pick. I mean, I don't know much about the man, but it was a horrible pick. Terrible. I was going for Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. That was my pick. That was my choice. And when she didn't pick him, I'm like, oh, God, she's going to lose. Sure enough, she lost. Anyway, so the city of Paterson, New Jersey is, since I've known about Paterson, it's been perennially in turmoil. I lived in Paterson for 13 years. Paterson, New Jersey, city of Paterson, New Jersey. And I lived there for 13 years. Always in turmoil. Always. City of Paterson, New Jersey. Never could get it right. Can't get it right. I still have my proclamation on the wall right here. I got 21 years ago, actually, from the city of Paterson, the city council of Paterson. And that council has completely changed from the people who were council people when I got my proclamation from the city of Paterson for the good work that we do here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So I got my proclamation. 2004. And as I look at it, I'm looking up at it now, it's on the wall, and none of those people are council members anymore. None of the people who were council members in 2004 are council members today in the city of Paterson, New Jersey. And even though the council has flipped, it's the same craziness. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be a resident of the city of Paterson, New Jersey right now. It's embarrassing. But what's going on, you can't tell what goes on in that city council meeting than you can from a corner brawl on Rosa Parks and Broadway. It's just embarrassing to be even a citizen of the city of Paterson. Because the city of Paterson is a joke. Where you live, say Woodland Park, Elmwood Park, anywhere Passaic, Hawthorne, North Haledon, say anywhere you live, but don't say Paterson. Because you're going to get laughed at. Because Paterson is a joke. And, Marty Barnes was a great mayor. City of Paterson. Yeah, he did what he did, and I don't excuse that. But you didn't have the turmoil and the drama that you have now. Didn't have it. Because right now, it's turmoil, it's drama, it's nonsense. Like what happened the other night, last Tuesday, in the council meeting, city of Paterson. Just embarrassing. Embarrassing. So, we'll have Councilman Luis Velez on the program in a week or so. Not believe me, I'll let you know when he's coming because I know you're all waiting for him. And I'm going to ask him what I'm going to ask him. So hold on to your hats because Councilman Louis Velez will be here. I believe it's next week because he called me. We did talk. And, so we're gonna get down on it when he comes on here to Ron Kelly Talk Radio Show. Yeah. So, 14 minutes before the hour. So embarrassing. Just can't get it right. City of Paterson, New Jersey. Just embarrassing. That's the best word I can use. So who should be the next mayor of the city of Paterson, New Jersey? So who should be the next mayor of the city of Paterson, New Jersey? So who wants to be? that's the deal. Who wants to be? Who wants to be the mayor of the city of Paterson? I see some people, and I'm going to go local for a minute in my national audience. I saw some people who are fronting for Mike Jackson, the councilman of the First Ward, Mike Jackson, to be mayor. Now, I don't know if I'm hearing that, and I'm looking for something here. I'm hearing that. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm hearing that. And everybody support Andre Brown. Before I move on from that, support Andre Brown, the brother who's facing another 17 years, 23 years in prison. He spent already. Case got thrown out because of ineffective counsel, and now that a judge reversed that. He's been out for several years, doing good things in the community. So definitely, tell what's her face over there in New York, the lady governor. Hey, look out for this brother. At least give him a continuance, so they can. Because I know he applied for clemency, and he's a good, he's a good prospect for clemency. So tell old girl over there in New York State, Kathy Hochul, send some, send don't let the brother down. These are people we need to rally around. Enough of, people getting shot by police is bad. Stopping the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is bad. But let's stand up for this brother, Andre Brown. Let's stand up for this brother. Let's get it together. Let's stand up for Andre Brown. Stand up for Andre Brown. Let Kathy Hochul know to give him the time to let his clemency application go through. 23 years was enough. Andre Brown. Andre Brown. Somebody want to start a petition? Maybe I'll start one. Let the people come together, black folks. This is what we got to do, see? We can't worry about who got the BMW, what crab I want to pull back down into the bucket. We got to help each other. So Andre Brown, facing another 17 years, already spent 23. Look out for this brother. So And I'm definitely gonna put in my 2 cents with him. Okay, so um, Mike Jackson, not that the Michael Jackson, Mike Jackson. Some people are okay. Andre Vaughn, where is okay? Andre Vaughn, where is Hampton? Uh, okay, a listener, Andrew Vaughn is on my YouTube channel. So let me speak to him for a second. Okay, Andrew, where is Hampton Lakes? There's a brother, Avon Castlemaine. I think the person's name is Avon Castlemaine. Is the individual, this brother who's watching the Ron Kelly show on the YouTube channel. Let me see, Avon. I don't see anything for him. I think he might have. Not sure how Avon Castlemaine. I'm not sure who. Yeah, give me some more information on that, Andrew. Avon Castlemaine. So this is the brother that he's talking about that was treated unfairly. Avon Castlemain. I'm not sure who that is. I looked it up, but I didn't see anything. Unless old boy is like snookering me here. All right, it's 8.5 minutes before the hour. So yeah, Andrew, let me know where Hampton Lakes is. Okay, so yeah, some people are repping Mike Jackson, first ward councilman in the city of Paterson, New Jersey, Mike Jackson, for mayor. No. 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 Some of you who see did that. This is another this is another this is another blatant example of boy, I'm lost my train of thought. Yeah, this is another example of what I was talking about last week before last, about tribalism. And somebody, and you recommending Mike Jackson for mayor. Yeah, what's wrong with you? See, this is another bad example of tribalism. Mike Jackson for mayor. Mike Jackson is not qualified to be mayor. Mike Jackson doesn't have the temperament to be mayor. He doesn't have it. But see, but that's what happens with the tribalism. Because that's what happens when we advocate for people who are not qualified. And I'm not saying the brother is not smart or anything like that. He couldn't handle the job, but you got to have a certain temperament to handle that job. You can't fly off the handle every time something goes wrong, being the mayor of the city of Paterson. So Mike Jackson for mayor? No. No. I don't think so. Oh, this is South Carolina. Hampton Lakes is in South Carolina. If any of you are wondering. Allegedly. South Carolina. I'm still looking for that. Anyway, yeah. So, Mike Jackson for mayor? No. No. I know people go, oh, Ron, R. Kelly, you don't live in Paterson no more. I lived in Paterson long enough to have an opinion. Mike Jackson for mayor? No. Now, allegedly, Andre Sayegh, why is he um, unless he's not going to run again, which I certainly wouldn't blame him. I certainly would not blame him. Now, Andre Sayegh, I understand, who's the current mayor of the city of Paterson, has a lead, has a big lead for the to be a congressman. Now, Sayegh, so this is why people are stepping up to try to run for mayor, because Sayegh may be leaving. He leads Benji Wimberly, the assemblyman. This is for the late Bill Pascrell's old seat. So Sayegh, he's ahead of Benji. He's ahead of Shavonda Sumter. He's ahead of someone else, Clinton Calabrese. And he's ahead of Nellie Poe. Yeah. And you know what? He's probably going to win. So this is why these guys are scrambling for this guy's seat. Scrambling for Shavonda Sumter's seat, because Shavonda Sumter is stepping down from her assemblywoman's job in the 35th district. So Mike Jackson, no. I wouldn't vote for Mike Jackson. I wouldn't front Mike Jackson for mayor. Maybe for some other position, but not for mayor. No. Because Mike Jackson doesn't have the temperament to be mayor. You know, like I said, this is a perfect example. There's about 2.5 minutes left of the program. This is a perfect example of folks. There's a perfect example of folks tribalism, picking somebody who is not qualified. Mike Jackson is not qualified to be the mayor. Too quick to battle. So we have to drop that. Anyway, just a minute left, everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I know Mike Jackson, somebody's going to tell Mike Jackson I said he's not good for mayor. I expect to hear from him. But everybody, thank you so much for joining me here on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. It's about 45 seconds before the hour. Any good sheriffs in the country think you do a good job? Well, I've had a couple of them on my radio program, Andrew. So, if you could suggest, have them, you have a sheriff who wants to talk to me, let me know. But I am a law enforcement person, by the way. I believe in law enforcement applied the correct way. Anyway, I'm out, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I like to say it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And then we may not have it all together, but together we can certainly have it all. Thank you so much. See you next week. Peace.